Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Jameen. I'm Nikki Willis, and
I am Jameen.
And the big question of the week is, what is house hacking? Here we go. So, Jay, we get questions from a lot of investors, and one of those questions is, what is house hacking? So let's get into it. What is house hacking?
So, house hacking is an investment strategy where you use an owner-occupied loan to invest in real estate.
Okay.
So it's kind of a two-parter. So the first thing that people need to know is with house hacking is you can use an FHA loan, which is a government-backed loan, or you can use a conventional loan. Now, the reason why people house hack is because if you get an investment loan, you generally have to put 20% down, 25% down,
right,
and get a higher interest rate. So an investor loan and an owner-occupied loan is different because an investor loan typically has a higher interest rate than an owner-occupied loan, and you have to put down a higher down payment. So if you do an owner-occupied loan, you put down a lower down payment, and you also get a lower interest rate.
Right.
The catch is you have to owner-occupy the property.
Right, yeah. right. So, so I am usually the transaction coordinator for our team, or I was until I got super busy with our clients. And when we're putting together that contract, the contracts will ask, do you plan on occupying this property? So that is for, so what you're saying is that while this is an investment property, they need to occupy the property.
Yeah, so the point is, some people don't, but you have to have the intent to owner-occupy the property that you're getting the FHA, owner-occupied FHA or conventional loan for.
So another question would be, what types of properties would this investment strategy be good for?
So it depends on your investment goals.
Okay.
People, it's like I said, it's two parts. So you can get an FHA or a conventional owner-occupied loan, and you can buy up to a 4-unit rental property. So people who want to have rental property, they can go from 0 to 4 doors or 3 doors because you're supposed to owner-occupy one of them, right? So 0 to 3 doors with an FHA or owner-occupied loan. So if you want to get rental properties, you can get 3 doors and buy up to a 4-family with an owner-occupied loan. Then what a lot of people do is they do that to buy their first one, they live in one, rent out the other 3, and it's either going to offset their mortgage payment or they're going to make rental income on the other 3 doors to start off with rental property.
And you know what, that sounds like such a great investment strategy, especially for young people. Like when you are just coming out of college, or whether you may be in college, buy a triplex or a fourplex, live in one, rent out the other 3 to where, a portion of the rental income is paying off that mortgage, and then you're pocketing the rest, or saving the rest to buy your next property. So that's I feel like that's a really good strategy for young people to get into the investment game without trying to buy something that's like super big or something like that. What do you think about that?
So I just want to back up a little bit. You said it's a smart idea to do that when you're younger.
Yeah,
because that's what your boy did before I met my lovely wife.
Yes, that is true.
Bachelor. So
you did.
I actually, that's what I did when I was 22.
Right.
I bought my first property, and for my first property, I bought a 3-family. So I lived in 1 unit, rented out the other 2, and I still made like $300 a month.
So they paid the mortgage off.
Yep.
While you pocketed $300.
Yep. So I made $300 a month living there, and so I was single, didn't have any kids, so I just occupied the 1-bedroom unit, and I made $300 a month. Yeah, so it's a really smart thing to do, especially if you don't have a big family or you don't need a big space.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have kids, it's a smart thing to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So young people, listen up. Maybe when you're graduating or coming out of college or want to buy that first property, you might want to think about looking into multifamilies or some type of investment property where you can make money on your first property. We can talk about that more in depth with you. Just visit our website at thewillisteamlv.com. We'd love to help you. We have tons of ideas and things that can help you in your journey of being a property owner. So, I know we like to talk about good things, all the pros and everything like that, but let's talk about the cons. Let's talk about some of the downfalls of house hacking.
Well, before we talk about that, I want to talk about the second part of why people house hack. So the second part is people who don't want rental property, they want to rehab a property. And we even thought about doing this, but we decided that it wasn't the best thing for us.
We did. We'll tell you why, too. We'll tell you why. We thought
about being serial movers and buying a property, living in it for a while, and then moving on to the next property. So some people buy a property to rehab it. Yeah. So they buy it, fix it up, live in it. And
while they're fixing it
up. Or even, when they finish, they move into it and then stay in there for a while, for like a year, and then they, buy something else. Yeah. So that's another strategy because, again, if you're looking at a property and you need $50,000 worth of work, you can buy get an owner-occupant loan and put less of a down payment down. So now you have your down payment and your fix-up costs versus you may have not had 20 or 25% for the down payment plus the rehab costs of the property. So another reason why people house hack is to flip properties. They just live in it for a while, then sell it, and then they have the money to buy the next property, and they kind of repeat the process over again. So we decided that wasn't for us. Yeah. Because of some of the downsides of house hacking.
Right. But let me tell y'all the backstory of why I'm like, oh, babe, let's do this, right? So HGTV had this series that was happening where they followed this family that house hacked. So they had bought, previous properties before, and this next one, they were actually house hacking an old firehouse. You remember that? And I was obsessed with this show, y'all. I was like, oh my goodness. Of course, they made it look super easy. And I'm like, yes, we can do this. Let's buy a firehouse. I mean, he was just looking at me like he always does, what the heck? Because I'm extra. But, I really thought we could do this. And this was when our older kids were super young and Jonathan was like a newborn. And so, can you imagine this little baby in diapers, crawling around with nail guns out and, walls that are unfinished and you're washing dishes in the bathtub. It was a whole lot. And he reminded me that I'm a little too extra. And, I like luxurious things. So we
didn't do that.
It wasn't going to work. When I found out that I had to do dishes in the bathtub, I was like, okay, never mind. Just kidding. So that was now let's get into the downside, right? One of the downsides is if you are a family, right? If you're a family, it's a little bit more difficult. Not to say that it can't be done, because I believe maybe they sold it or whatever, but they're living their best life in that firehouse.
Right. No.
Just not for us. So if you want to move around a lot, if you're house hacking and you're moving from place to place to place, it can be a little bit difficult with small kids or children in school. Right, babe?
So some families have to move around a lot because of military or work or something like that, but house hacking is actually voluntary. It's not something that you have to do. Right. And one of the reasons why people buy a house or own a home is because they want to be rooted in a certain neighborhood, they want structure. So if you keep moving, it kind of defeats the purpose of why you buy a house. But some older families, it could be more like an adventure.
Yeah.
But most kids don't.
Who want to wash their dishes in the bathtub?
Don't. Every house doesn't require you to have to do.
That's the first thing I think of. Just washing dishes in the bathtub.
Right. It's not everybody. The other thing is school districts.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking for a good investment, it may not be in the same school district as where your kids are. So that's maybe
true.
the disadvantage of house hacking. You have to only buy investment properties, only look for investment properties in a limited area, or potentially have your kids going to different schools.
That's true.
The other thing is with house hacking, after you buy that property, let's say you buy a 4-family, and then you have to refinance that to a non-owner occupied loan to buy another one that's owner occupied to put down a lower down payment. So you will eventually have to refinance that property when you move out of it, or when you do flipping, you just sell it. Then you do another owner occupied loan.
I see. Yeah. So they either refinance to get from out of it to buy something else, or they just sell the whole thing and start over. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Who wants to wash their dishes in the bathtub?
Also moving. So another disadvantage is you have
moving.
to pack up your stuff.
Yeah.
Our moving companies are moving yourself. You have to move multiple times.
But those who have perfected it though, like they don't, they live like real minimalistically and it can be done.
Or if you don't mind moving, I don't mind moving 3 to 5 years. I don't mind moving.
That's because I'm good at it.
Not weird? Weird?
I'm
if
good.
You do it, then I do it. So we both must be, Anyways.
I'm good. I'm really good at moving. Organizing everything, when we moved out here.
Anyway, speaking of moving, why don't you tell the good people if they need to move, what they can do if they need to move?
Well, if you need to move, you can call the Willis Team because we specialize in relocations. So you can visit us at thewillisteamlv.com, or you can email us at thewillisteamlv@gmail.com. We would love to assist you so that you won't have to wash your dishes in the bathtub. I don't know why. Hey, if you wash your dishes in the bathtub, this is no shade to you. That's a disclaimer. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm on one today. Well, guys, this has been another episode of Ask Jameen. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye. Peace.